don't focus on where you're at, focus on where you're going.
What's going on, bosses? My name is Kat.
And I'm Josiah.
And this is
Boss Up With Us, the channel that's all about personal development, finance, and entrepreneurship for individuals, groups, and couples like ourselves. Now, before we get started with today's episode, make sure that you guys subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so that you are notified every week, because we will be releasing new episodes of our Midweek Motivation Series every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
So for today's episode, we are going to be discussing how the job that you hate can interfere with the life that you want.
Now, with this being a topic that both Kat and I have personal experience with, we're first going to get into how to tell if you do indeed hate your job. Then we're going to get into what exactly you're missing out on by staying at that job that you hate. And finally, we're going to go over game planning your exit and chasing that dream life that you wanted and you have wanted your entire life.
And of course, before we get into all of that, we want to do our midweek wrap up. And for me, this week, or this weekend, I should say, I was able to go ahead and see two of my very closest friends that I haven't seen in quite some time. They live about 2 hours away. So I had a nice girls' weekend with them. We cooked, we drank some wine, we played games, we had good conversations. It was a really, really good time just to get away and see them and just, have fun with my girls.
And meanwhile, while Kat was out of town having fun and enjoying her friends and hanging out, doing whatever she was doing, I was back here and I was back at home taking care of business. It was another busy weekend for me. My vending machine company, we actually just secured another location for our business, so our route is continuing to expand. In addition to that, we've been ramping things up with the online reselling business that we tell you guys about all the time, but we've yet to really get into detail about what goes on, but
which we will.
Stay tuned.
In the future.
So we ramp things up with that. The party that we have coming up for my party promoting business, that's doing awesome with like sales, and we're looking at a really nice turnout, a safe turnout. We do know that coronavirus is still going on, but we are taking our precautions. But we're looking at a very successful event. I feel like there's something else that happened. I think I did some Uber Eats this weekend as well. I had to keep myself busy because my girlfriend was out of town and,
He was missing me.
Yeah, I was missing her a little bit. And in addition to that, obviously now we are in August. It's the start of a new month.
We're going by so fast.
Yeah, we're getting deeper and deeper into the year, and we're approaching, before we know it, we'll be approaching the end of the year. So, this is just a perfect time to reassess those things that you probably didn't get accomplished in July. Once you reassess it and you realize that you didn't accomplish it, then you're cognizant of it still. And so you can rework your game plan and you can make sure that you accomplish the things that you say that you wanted to do, because now you know what to do. Mm-hmm. So the last thing for you to do is actually do it. Mm-hmm. Same thing applies for us. We had things that we wanted to accomplish last month that we didn't get accomplished. And so we came into this month saying, you know what, let's double down and let's get serious and let's get busy and let's focus. Let's refocus ourselves, just continue to stay persistent, stay consistent, and the success will follow.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. And of course, the first topic on our list, as Josiah said earlier, ways to tell that you hate your job. And this is a topic that is very near and dear to, I think, everybody but me personally, because I dealt with this. Not
everybody. Some people actually enjoy their jobs.
This time last year, leading up until the end of last year, I was working at a job that I hated, with a capital HATED.
I was about to.
I hated the job. It was very, very just toxic. I had great coworkers, but just the work itself, management, lack of integrity and morale and just empathy and a whole bunch of other things. I really, really hated this job. And ways that I could tell that I hated it, the number one way is that it was very, very difficult for me to get up out the bed in the morning and get up and actually go to work.
Yeah.
Like, I literally dreaded when my alarm would go off in the morning and I had to get up out of bed. I had to drag myself out of bed. I was like, just made it to work on time every single day. And while I was there, like my mood was so negative all day long that after a while I realized like I was distancing myself from my coworkers and people that I actually got along great with because I just didn't want to be there. And I would go home, and because I was mentally drained from the day, I would come home and I wouldn't do anything productive with my day. I would just mope around, like eat, watch TV, try to get my mind off this terrible job that I hated, but deep down inside it was still on my subconscious, and go to bed, and it was the same cycle every single day. And it got worse and worse and worse, where I was having instances that were happening at my job, and I would vent to Josiah about this job every single day.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think that if you're in a relationship with somebody,
non-stop.
I think the quickest and easiest way to tell if your partner hates their job is if they're coming home every single day and all they want to talk about is how Judy bothered them, or Judy did this, or somebody did something to somebody, or they moved something out of place, or they just...
the company itself did something, and it, it's just, that's all they talk about.
If everything that you hear about a person when they're discussing their job is just negative, then it's a strong possibility that they hate their job. And it's unfortunate because a lot of us think that we're supposed to be in that predicament. It's like, it's almost like ritualistic for people to sit in circles and just discuss all of the nonsense that they dealt with throughout the week at work.
Yeah, and that was something I was going to say too, is that I was also with coworkers that hated the job too, and everybody just sat in this bubble of just negativity and just talked about this job. Yeah. Either we were talking about it at work, or I'm home and people are texting me about it, and then I'm going back to work and I'm seeing the same person or the same people, and we're talking about how crappy this job is.
Yeah.
So it weighed on me in so many ways. Mentally, it was exhausting. In many ways, I also battle with these feelings of guilt, because I felt like in many ways I was being selfish, because I was like, well, at least I have a job, and there's so many people that don't have a job. And it was a job that was good pay. It was, benefits and health insurance. It was good in terms of that aspect, but I started to feel guilty because I felt like, so many people are struggling to get a job, and here I am with the job and I'm complaining about it.
That kind of goes back into what I was talking about when I say that a lot of people think that it's just normal for them to be in this predicament.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So they choose jobs over their happiness a lot of times because they're like, yo, I got to pay for the bills.
That's another thing too.
I got to get things taken care of. I can't be worrying about what I want to do. I got to just do what I got to do and get it done with.
That was a feeling I definitely experienced, because I live at home and I help financially, and that was another thing. I was like, Kat, you can't think this way. Like, you need this job. You got to help mom at home and everything. Like, so like you said, it goes back to that ritualistic mindset where people think that it's like normal to feel that way.
Yeah, and I saw it all the time at all of the jobs that I worked. I never hated a job per se. I always got along with people. I think I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm a pretty friendly guy. So I never had no issues with nobody. But I would notice, you could just see how distressed people are when they are at work, and it's just eating away at them. There's, you just hear a lot of bickering. There's a lot of gossip going around. Just people just show up with bad attitudes off
and their mannerisms.
And these are
miserable.
These are the things that I noticed and I caught on to, and they did kind of influence my decision to stop working, period. Like, I was like, yo, this stuff is toxic. I'm a young man. I'm not gonna be an old man and talking like these people are talking. So the other thing to be wary about when you're spending time at these jobs that you dislike are the things that you are missing out on. When you work a job, when you clock in at your 9 to 5, or you do a double shift, or you're working 40 hours to 80 hours a week. Yes, some people are actually working 80 hours a week. The thing that you have to realize is that you're sacrificing a lot of your time. That's time with your family, time with your loved ones, time vacationing, time just tending to your mental health, tending to your your hobbies, the things that fulfill you and the things that make you feel good. I think it's important for us to all prioritize our happiness over the place that we work. So when you are at places that are making you unhappy, it's going to affect all of the other aspects of your life, because you're not able to do things with joy. You're not able to do things to your full, is it potential? Yeah, to your full potential.
Some people don't even realize it.
Yeah. I remember when I was working I would work with people that have been working at the job that they were at for 30 years or for 20 years or for 40 years. And they would be like, man, I remember when I was your age. And they would be like, boy, does time fly. Like, and I would just be like, yikes, I don't want to, be at that point. I don't want to be 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and I'm still in this place where I told myself I wasn't going to be. Because a lot of times they would say, they came into the job and they didn't expect to be there as long as they would. You can't get those years back. That's time that you cannot get back. We do not have time machines as of right now. It's important for us to remember that we have to actually set aside time other than just the weekends and other than just our vacation time to enjoy ourselves and enjoy our lives. You want to make sure that you're able to enjoy yourself when you're still working. All right, so we've identified how to tell if you hate your job. We've gone over some of the things that you are missing, and so now it's only right that we discuss how to actually game plan leaving that job that you hate and chasing the dream and chasing the life of your dreams.
So for me, this job that I hated, I actually ended up quitting the job. There were some things that took place, and I'm pretty much enough was enough. Yeah. But before I actually quit that job, I actually had a conversation with Josiah, and he was all
conversation or plural.
Well, because the incident, I had a conversation with you, but he had been telling me from way before that, you need to quit this job, you need to quit this job, and it took this really, what's the word I want to say? This incident or this situation that happened at work. It took a situation that happened at work for me to finally be like, okay, enough is enough. As I mentioned, I do still live at home with my mother and I do help with the bills. So my main concern and thought process was like, how am I going to provide and how am I even going to like come home and tell my mother this? Luckily, my mother was very, very understanding, and I had the conversation with her and she could see how much I hated this place and I needed to go. And so I was very, very thankful that she was understanding and was willing to, basically she was like, we'll figure it out. From there, as you guys know, I wasn't working for about 2 or 3 months and I got the job now working at the hospital where I'm at. So I'm a lot happier.
So my story is a little different. I just came to the realization that I was doing something that I did not see myself having a future at. And not only that, there was no other job out there that was going to make me happy and was going to make me feel like I was living or working towards that dream life that I've always wanted. A lot of this stuff is mindset. And if you're going to take that step, you have to have an open mind. You have to have a creative mind. You have to embrace all of the possibilities, because once you have no job, there are endless possibilities. My approach to quitting my job was, I was like, I can always get another job if push comes to shove. I will never get another job, but I can always go and get another job.
So that gave you security.
I mean, that I wasn't even really thinking about that. My thought process was, I'm gonna leave my job and I'm gonna make whatever it is that I want to happen. Like that's my
figure it out.
Yeah, that's my mindset. I'm very big on manifestation and the law of attraction and just making things happen. So I went into it with an open mind, a creative mind, and I'm here now. I haven't been working in 8 months, and I'm not regretful about it at all. I actually never even think about getting another job.
Yeah, he's so comfortable. Josiah is so comfortable. He hasn't been working for the past 8 months. This whole pandemic happened, and he's like, he's so happy. He's so confident. He's so comfortable. Like, it's amazing.
Listen, I
said, he hasn't complained about money. It's amazing.
I'm gonna make it happen. If you go back and watch some of our episodes, we've shown you ways to make money that you probably never even realized. You can make money and probably match the salary or, those paychecks that you're getting right now. So, like I said, it's all really mindset. But once you fixate in your mind that you want to leave this job, that you want to chase that dream that you've always had, maybe you want to go back to school, or maybe you want to put in for a promotion, or maybe you want to be a full-time entrepreneur like I'm doing. It all starts up here. Once you put it up here and then you say, this is what I'm gonna do, then you start breaking it down. Maybe you write it down. You say, okay, I'm gonna take this step first. Maybe I'm gonna read this book for some inspiration, and then right after I read that book, I'm gonna go out and do it. Or I'm gonna take this course and I'm gonna pick up these skills and then I'm gonna immediately apply them. Or I'm going to put in that I'm going to put in for school. I'm going to go in and submit my application at the end of the week or at the end of the month, or I'm going to go and get that certification, or I'm going to put in for that promotion. It's just a matter of planning it, being serious, writing it down, and then actually taking the action. You do not have to stay at the job that you hate. If you have any type of a skill, you don't even have to have a college degree. If you know how to do something, or even if you don't know how to do something, if you're willing to learn how to do something, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. Just keep an open mind, stay creative. There's a ton of possibilities out there. Do a little bit of research, but don't get caught up on research. We told you about
analysis paralysis.
Yeah, we told you about that stuff before. So,
and just to add on to that, in terms of planning and everything, one thing that I could say, because I see this, where I work, and I think you've seen it too at your job, where, like you said, you have people around you that will talk and put a lot of things in your ear or say stuff. I mean, that was this new job that I'm at. Like the first week I was there, I was talking to someone and they were like, yeah, like I thought I was only going to be here for a year or two, and it's been 12 years. Like, because I was saying like I don't plan to be here for that long. I have other things in place, blah blah. And they were like, yeah, that was me too, blah. So be mindful of people talking and trying to put things into your ears and try to convince you that what you want to do or the plan that you have is not realistic. Especially older people who have been in these jobs and these corporations and whatever it is for years, they will definitely try to talk to you and put that in your ear, because it happens to me now where I'm at. And because my mindset has changed drastically, it goes in one ear and out the other.
A good way to think about it is don't focus on where you're at, focus on where you're going. And as you focus on where you're going, you will slowly but surely see yourself working towards that, and then before you know it, you'll be at that place that you wanted to be.
Yeah, I definitely find myself when I'm at work and some nonsense happens, I'm like, man, that's all right. I got 3 businesses. My man got 6 businesses. I'm gonna be all right. You got to get in the mindset like, I don't need this, and I have things that I have in the future and that I'm planning and I'm working towards it. And I'm so confident in that that I'm not worried about this.
If you're maybe at that job that you dislike, maybe you start something on the side. Maybe you start that business. I don't like calling them side hustles. I say business.
I mean, what I was saying too is that you have your business on that side and you call your 9 to 5 your side hustle.
Yeah, you can do
like
that
you
too.
said, you can always get another 9 to 5. So if you start thinking about it that way, like, all right, I have my side hustle, my 9 to 5. When I leave there, I go home and I tend to my business. Get into that mentality as well. Because that 9 to 5 is always going to be there, unless you obviously do something very outlandish. But even so, you can always get another 9 to 5.
But that's about it for this episode.
This was a good episode. I enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah,
it was good.
This is another one that we can talk about all day.
We don't want to
but we don't want to, we don't want to start throwing hour-long episodes at you. Not yet, at least. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this topic. So
share in the comments. Talk to us in the comments. And let us know how you feel about this topic, and whatever struggles you guys are going through with being at a job that you don't really care for, but trying to like transition into something else. And if you have done it, what were some tips? Maybe there were some tips and suggestions that we weren't able to discuss, but you guys are willing to share that as well. Leave those in the comments too. We'd love to read them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, be sure to follow us across all social media platforms. We have different types of content that we'll be sharing on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Make sure that you guys subscribe and hit that notifications button. We will be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. sharp for another episode of our Midweek Motivation Series. Again, you guys, stay tuned, because we've been telling you, we've been throwing hints at you. Boss Up With Us is going to be so much more than just a YouTube channel or just content on social media profiles. So, just stay tuned. And as Kat says, make sure that you
keep growing, keep glowing, keep bossing up. We'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. Boss